Good evening to you. Thank you so much for making time tonight. You're watching KUTV Primetime News. Let's get the highlights. No time for threats and intimidations. KMPDU continues with its demand for implementation of CBA. Street families in Kisii town celebrate Easter in style as they receive free medication and food donation. Treasury to boost pension coverage by 255 million Kenyan shillings. And the Talanta Hela under-19 ladies thrashed Real Zaragoza of Spain 3-0 in their friendly match. Remember, we are also live on YouTube at KUTVNEWS Kenya, and you can send us your feedback on X at KUTV_Kenya at Anyango Sylvia KE. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Samuel Kelo and Anyango Sylvia. We begin. Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union has vowed to continue with the strike despite order issued by Ministry of Health, Council of Governors and Management of National Referral Hospitals for them to resume work. As the strike hits the third week, clinical officers have also joined the doctors in the strike after the government ignored their last week's strike notice. Salma Swale kicks us off with that story tonight.
Doctors' strike that started on the 14th of March is still continuing, hitting the third week with clinical officers also joining the strike today, necessitated by failure by the government to hit their demands highlighted on a notice last week. KMPDU Doctors Union, led by Secretary General Davji Atela, says that they are disappointed with their employers that instead of addressing the critical issues raised in the strike notice, the employers have chosen to resort to threats and intimidation tactics. Atela says the union denounces the attempts to intimidate and coerce doctors into abandoning their legitimate struggle for better working conditions and healthcare services for all Kenyans.
Kwa hivyo leo tumesema hakuna threats, intimidation ama victimization ambayo itafanya madaktari warudi kazini, ila ni ile kuketi chini na kuangalia na kutokea mikakati kamilifu ya kuimplement hiyo CBA. Kwa hivyo hiyo ndio call ambayo tumesema leo.
Speaking in Kirinyaga County after meeting doctors from the county, Atela raised various concerns that need to be agreed upon by all concerned parties, saying that doctors should resort to good working conditions.
Promotions of all doctors who are due for promotions. We have doctors who have stagnated for 10 years, 15 years in the entry levels, and some governors have moral authority to stand in cameras and threaten them. It's a shame. We have doctors who don't have comprehensive medical cover, and we are demanding that any county or any employer who wishes to demand doctors back to work need to provide this comprehensive medical cover.
This raised an alarm to the Catholic Church Bishops of Kenya, effecting to lead talks between the Doctors' Umbrella Union KMPDU and the Ministry of Health. Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakumicha, however, has said that the CBA contract of 2017 has controversial areas that needed to be addressed while calling for an immediate review of the contract. Salma Swaleh, KUTV.
Easter was celebrated in style by street families in Kisii town as they received free medical services and food donations from a young UN Habitat ambassador, Jonathan Oriki. The families are now eager to receive support in order to launch businesses, find employment overseas, and develop their talents.
As Christians all over the world gather to celebrate Easter holiday, commemorating the death and resurrection of Christ, Jonathan Oriki, who is the ambassador of goodwill to the UN body, during a free medical camp and receipt of donations for street families in Kisii County, described his mission as one of sharing love and joy through interaction with a stigmatized group of society during the special occasion.
And the essence of this initiative is to share our love, our joy, and also we have a conversation na our wenzetu about the often discriminated na pia marginalized in our society. Tunataka kuonyesha kwamba sisi tunawapenda na going forward tunataka kuwa na such events done thrice a year, but above all tunataka kuensure that tumewatoa hapo kwa streets, wamesoma, wamekuwa watu wazuri na wamesaidia uchumi yetu ya Kenya.
The street family's hope of being empowered by Oriki was well received with joy, as Anthony Mogaka, one of the street families, outlined that a number of them had talents but lacked assistance to develop and monetize them. He appealed to the ambassador to sponsor their travel abroad, where they will be employed to apply their skills.
Sisi kama mayouth, tuko na talent na tuna skills. Sasa mtu anatushika mkono venye amesema ndio hakuna. Vijana wako hapa wamejituma. Kuna wengine hawajasoma vizuri, wengine wamesoma vizuri, lakini kazi hakuna. Sasa Jonathan, I think venye umetuona sisi wa Rasta, ile talent tumejaribu kufanya hapa tumejituma. Najua au utatupeleka UN au utatuacha hapa.
Osoro coaches, who is also a street boy, decried the filthy conditions they live in and appealed to Oriki to consider starting a housing project to accommodate them. Osoro challenged county leaders to emulate the ambassador, further suggesting Governor Simba Arati to be involved in the plans to improve their socio-economic welfare.
Nilikuwa naomba ikiwezekana vile umeamua hivi, hata sasa hivi ukiangalia kuna watoto hapa hivi wadogo wananyeshewa, wana hata sweta na anatoka hapa ana mali pa kwenda pa kulala. Ikiwezekana utusaidie na kuanza hata manyumba 2-3 hivi, ndipo tutapeleka hao watoto mahali wanaweza lala, asubuhi anaamuka. At least hata ukimwongelesha aende shule, itawezekana aende shule sababu anajua kuna mahali anatoka mahali pa kulala.
Over 500 families benefited from the medical camp and foodstuffs, with the ambassador hinting the underway plans to rehabilitate the street urchins to help them become future responsible citizens. Anyango, Sylvia, KUTV.
Tana River Women Rep Amina Dika, together with other leaders, during the distribution of materials to people with intellectual disabilities at Kipini Township in Gassen constituency, have criticized the allocation of National Government Affirmative Action Funds, GAF, terming it unfair to vast counties like Tana River and Lamu despite their huge challenges. Take a look.
Tana River Women Representative Amina Dika has criticized the allocation of National Government Affirmative Action Fund, terming it unfair to vast counties like Tana River and Lamu, which have 2 and 3 constituencies respectively, despite their huge challenges. Dika stated that she has been aggressive in seeking donor support and help from different offices to get funding and donation from organizations, as the allocation from the national government was insufficient to cover the entire constituency.
Kwa upande wa disability, katika hii safari yangu nimewafikiria sana watu wa disability. Ndio maana leo tuko na Special Olympics. Hawa wanashughulika upande wa elimu, wanashughulika upande wa kuwezesha familia ambao wako na watoto ama wazazi ambao wako na disability. Tutaketi chini, si kuongea kwa baraza. Nilitaka wao leo waje waone, na ingewezekana pia kama hiyo team ya disability tukae tupange mikakati yetu.
Tana River County Speaker Osman Galole has applauded the women representative for initiating the program to support people living with disability. He also noted that people living with disability are supposed to be given priority together with the vulnerable.
Yule anayepaswa kufaidika zaidi na zaidi kwa basari ni mlemavu, kitu wa kwanza. Huyo ndo anapaswa. pamoja na wale ambao hawajiwezi, wazazi hawana uwezo.
Susan Masila from Special Olympic Support Kenya stated that they are planning to organize a medical camp in partnership with the Tana River Women Representative to reach out to as many people with intellectual disabilities.
Leo tumekuja tu vile mheshimiwa amesema, tumekuja tu kuona area ya Kipini. Tutarudi tukae chini, tupange mikakati, tujue vile tutaweza kujumuisha wale ambao wako na ulemavu wa akili katika miradi yote ya hapa kwenu Kipini, kwa sababu wako na haki na pia wanaweza kufanya mambo wakipewa nafasi.
Kama namshukuru women rep wetu Amina Dika leo siku leo amefika maeneo ya Kipini na vikundi vingi vimepata usaidizi. Hata kikundi chetu ambao ni cha sauti ya vijana tumepata usaidizi wa mashine ya car wash, kuosha magari, mapikipiki. Hiyo pia itatuinua kama vijana, kwa sababu si vijana tunakosa kazi, lakini kama hiyo mashine pia itatusaidia katika kikundi chetu. Kwa kila siku tunaweka pato, hata kama kwa siku shilingi 200 ambazo hizo kwa mwezi kwa akaunti yetu itakuwa ni shilingi 6000. Tutazidi kama jamii ama kama vijana kujiendeleza pia.
Tana River leaders have urged the women representative to give support to the community and create employment to aid drug abuse in the county. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
To improve access for informal, diaspora and temporary workers, the Treasury has planned for a number of retirement benefit adjustments that might cost up to 255 million Kenyan shillings by December of next year. According to the new policy, the state will invest up to 110 million shillings in tactics to enroll more workers from the informal sector by creating targeted pension products. Listen in.
The Retirement Benefits Authority estimates that 3.5 million Kenyans, or 25% of workforce, are enrolled in retirement benefit plan. This means that most Kenyans would retire in poverty. The recently released National Retirement Benefits Policy contains new provisions designed to address a number of issues that are restricting access and deterring employees' contribution. To improve access for informal diaspora and temporary workers, the Treasury has planned a number of retirement benefit adjustments that might cost up to 255 million by December of next year. According to the new policy, the state would invest up to 110 million in ways designed to enroll more workers from the informal sector. These tactics may include creating customized pension products and launching a market effort to boost adoption. Furthermore, a minimum of shillings 15 million would be allocated towards an awareness campaign targeting Kenyans residing overseas, as well as incentives and infrastructure development to expand coverage to the population. A budget of 100 million is anticipated to be used for assessing the success of the reforms results, as well as for changing regulations, particularly tax laws, to increase the use of pension products. Even with the National Social Security Fund, a mandated contributory plan that ought to benefit workers in the organized sectors, the majority of pension coverage now goes to former employees. According to the National Treasury, the formation of the informal sector scheme is not adequately supported by the current regulatory framework. Thus, a legal framework that encourages creativity, the creation of adaptable and responsive retirement benefits packages, and the application of NSSF Act are required. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
Now that story takes us to a very fast break on the bulletin tonight. Don't go far, we'll be back with more.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu. Pepo pa ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili. Hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
ni kaunti maarufu kwa kuzalisha maziwa na ukuzaji wa majani chai. Pia, serikali ya kaunti inawahimiza wakulima kukumbatia mitindo mingine ya kilimo kuzidisha mapato.
Kama kuna kikundi moja inafanya biashara ya kuuza kuku, hao pia tumewafadhili kuwafunza jinsi ya kuhandle zile kuku kwa sababu wanaleta kwa wingi.
Haya yote tunakuletea katika Boresha Kilimo, toleo la kaunti ya Bomet.
Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Welcome back. Remember to keep engaging with us on our social media platforms, on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Anyango Sylvia KE. Now on to international news. With a fundraising event to be held in Florida, Republican presumptive presidential nominee Donald Trump is gearing up to close the existing cash gap he has with the re-election bid of his political rival, President Joe Biden. VOA's Veronica Bilderas Iglesias has the story.
Republican presumptive presidential nominee Donald Trump is reportedly confident his campaign will be able to raise up to $33 million at a fundraiser in Palm Beach, Florida on April 6th. So far, Trump's campaign cash resources have lagged behind those of his Democratic political rival, President Joe Biden. Last Thursday alone, flanked by predecessors Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, Biden's campaign raised $26 million for his re-election bid during an event in New York's Radio City Music Hall. U.S. voters interviewed by VOA on Easter Sunday at the Washington Mall shared their views on the candidates' fundraising efforts.
The money is needed for things like advertising, specifically travel, staff, that sort of thing. It's not clear to me as far as having a firm grip on where all the money goes.
I think that too much money is poured into our elections on either side. I think that we need to cap the amount of spending that we're doing on elections.
The candidates' messaging and strategies need some work, says U.S. student Dana Boggs.
I just don't see any importance in how anyone is running their campaign right now. Actions would definitely be more important to me than any campaign.
While visiting New York City last week, Trump focused on the importance of fighting crime. He's expected to hold rallies in the coming days in Michigan and Wisconsin. Biden told reporters he'll visit Baltimore this week. His attention has been forced to shift from the campaign trail to the recovery efforts in Maryland after a cargo ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge on Tuesday. Maryland's Governor Wes Moore appeared Sunday on CNN's State of the Union and called the accident, quote, a national economic catastrophe, as supply chains could be disrupted as a result.
And so the reason that we need people to move in a bipartisan basis and move in a fast basis is not because we need you to do Maryland a favor. Maryland needs no favors. We need to make sure that we're actually moving quickly to get the American economy going again, because the Port of Baltimore is instrumental in our larger economic growth.
$60 million in immediate aid were approved by the Biden administration after the bridge collapsed. and a large extent of the rebuilding costs are also expected to be financed by the federal government. Veronica Valderas Iglesias, VOA News, Washington.
Pope Francis calls for an immediate ceasefire in the conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. This as Christians around the world celebrate Easter Sunday and relief teams struggle to deliver aid to besieged Palestinian territories. VOA's Arash Arabisabadi has more.
Easter Sunday in Vatican City. Before a packed crowd at St. Peter's Square filled with flowers, Pope Francis delivered a message calling for peace in Gaza.
Inoltre, faccio nuovamente appello.
I appeal once again that access to humanitarian aid be ensured in Gaza and call once more for the prompt release of the hostages seized on October 7th and for an immediate ceasefire in the Strip. Let us not allow the current hostilities to continue to have grave repercussions on the civil population and above all, the children.
Calls for aid to Gaza have recently taken shape as a convoy of ships left a port in Cyprus Saturday carrying some 400 tons of food and other relief supplies. World Central Kitchen says the crafts carried ready-to-eat staples like rice, pasta, flour, canned vegetables, and proteins, enough to prepare more than 1 million meals. The United Nations warns that famine could strike northern Gaza as early as this month. The United States military, along with regional partners, continues delivering relief in the form of airdropped pallets filled with food and water. But the deliveries can be spotty at times without any organized distribution method on land. Israel declared war on Hamas following an October 7th surprise attack by the militant group in which it killed 1,200 and kidnapped more than 250. Israel has since placed a stranglehold on the entire region, pummeling civilian infrastructure and restricting the flow of aid. Health officials in Gaza say more than 32,000 Palestinians have been killed. The United Nations International Court of Justice issued 2 provisional measures in a case brought by South Africa accusing Israel of genocide, a charge Israel flatly denies. But for many Israelis, an ongoing war isn't the answer, as they took to the streets demanding their government sign a ceasefire agreement with Hamas in exchange for hostages still held by the group Western powers identify as a terror organization. On Sunday at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, widely considered the most holy site in Christianity, the Archbishop held Easter Mass in a church emptier than years past, as since October 7th, Palestinian worshippers need special permission to cross checkpoints into Jerusalem. Arash Arabasadi, VOA News.
Now that story makes us take our second break on the bulletin. Tonight, sports is on the other side of the break. Don't go far.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday, we ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground. Every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
Courtesy of and thanks to you, our esteemed viewer, that once again we take this opportunity to wish you a blessed, wonderful Easter full of love, compassion, and open doors. And just like death could not stop Jesus Christ, you and us in this season remain unstoppable. Happy Easter.
Welcome back. And in sports tonight, the Talanta Hela under-19 boys and girls football teams have continued sharpening their skills in elite training camps in Tarragona in Spain. Earlier today, the girls teams won their friendly match against Real Zaragoza of Spain by defeating them 3-0. Elizabeth Mideva's brace and a goal from Hilda Natecho was enough to lead the girls to glory. On Thursday last week, the boys team won the Costa Daurada Cup while the girls came in second.
Our team has performed very well, and we hope that we'll be giving them more chances of exchange programs with different countries, even in Africa. And this is not the last team that we are having. We'll continue developing these ones as we also talent for new talents, so that at least by the time the competition comes, we have the right team for the country.
Nimepick a lot of experience, more so kwa preparation. Preparation is very key towards any competition. So, and again, lazima combine training na nutrition. Hiyo ndio kitu nimepick the most, that nutrition inambatana pia na training. So, these are some things that we can work on and for a better performance.
Roads and Transports Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen and Thika Town Member of Parliament Alice Nganga have emphasized the need to promote sporting activities as a way of keeping the youths away from criminal activities. Speaking in Thika Town during finals of Honorable Alice Nganga football tournament, the CS pledged to support the legislator to organize a soccer championship for Kiambu County, for which he pledged 1 million Kenyan shillings. The CS said the government is also gearing towards hosting the Africa Cup of Nations Soccer Championship in 2027 and is keen to tap Kenyan youth's talent in the football field.
Sisi serikali yetu ya Kenya imejiandaa kuhakikisha kwamba mpira imesonga mbele na michezo zingine. Na mnajua ya kwamba tangu rais akuje ofisi alisema kwamba sports fund na pesa zingine za mchezo iweko kwa mchezo ili isaidie kujenga mchezo kwa taifa letu.
This is not the end. Sasa mimi kama Thika, timu zangu zote ambao mlicheza, tunaenda kutengeneza timu moja ya mashujaa sana, ndio tuweze kukutana na Kaimboli, tuweze kupatana na Ishongwa, Kawanjiko, Wamasukuru, Ruiru, Kaizongori. Timu hizo 12, mheshimiwa wetu Waziri Murkomen amesema ya kwamba ni yeye anasimamia hiyo ligi na itaanza kule Kiambu.
Now that is it from us tonight. Thank you so much for keeping us company. Remember to keep engaging with us on our social media platforms. On X at KUTV_Kenya, at Anyango Sylvia KE, and on our YouTube platforms at KUTV News Kenya and at KUTV Kenya. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Sami Okello, and I'm Anyango Sylvia. Have a good night.